Hi guys, so for those that don't know me, my name is Sam and welcome back to my channel. Now today we are going to be going over how to write a short story or a story in general. Now for those who are my friends, they know that I write stories. My family, for those that you don't know, I write stories in my free time, and I always end up with this thing called writer's block. It's not technically something I like to refer to as writer's block. It's more of I just don't know how to do this part of the story, so I continue on a different part. Anyway, this is how to write a story my style. Now this one works, and I've gone to other people's YouTubes and everything, and I've looked at their ideas. They go off similar ideas to me, but they don't do something that I do. So without further ado, let's go. Okay, so I've got my little checklist here. This is actually my story wrote out thing, and a little something else I wrote here, but I've just got my little card of 7 things to do to write a story. Okay, let's begin. So number 1, ideas. Everyone knows a story starts with an idea. Now, there could be 1,000,000,001 different ideas in your head. I personally have 3. Now, that is a lot. And personally, I like to write them down in just a little book like this, writing down each day kind of thing, just to clear my head of all different ideas, and with the one that I stick with, that I take my most time with. But the key thing to writing a story is to stick with only one idea, no matter how much the other ideas are clawing at your brain. You have to stick with one idea, only one. Okay, number 2 is brainstorming. Once you have that idea, the idea you are so passionate about, okay, maybe not that, but an idea that you're willing to try, at least, is to write and brainstorm ideas and research about the story. Now, if you're writing like a sci-fi story or a fanfic, it could be anything like that, or even fantasy, horror, whatever you want. Look up other people's stories about how they wrote it. Or if you're a fanficking, you could write something about that world, but you need research to go with it. Otherwise, it won't make sense. My personal idea is, again, in a book or on a Google Doc, just write down what your idea is. Then underneath or in a bubble, write brainstorm and different ways you can go with your idea. Number 3 is outlining your story. Now, for me personally, I like to outline different scenes in my story, or just the story where I feel like it should go in chapters, or whatever it fits with the story. You don't have to do this. You could just write the beginning, middle, end. You could write, as I do, different parts of it. You could even go scene by scene. Just don't go full on in depth. This is an outline, remember. An outline is just to showcase the broad idea. But also with an outline, you have to, how do I say it? Like, go in depth enough so you can remember your idea, but not enough so that you can forget about it. You have to be able to remember your idea, but not go overboard, and be able to remember it and recall it in your brain, even if you leave it alone. Number 4 is actually writing the story. Now, everyone thinks that this is the most scariest part of it, but my easiest way to do it is whatever comes to your brain first, no matter if it's on topic of your story or not, write that first sentence. That's all you need. One of my stories personally, I wrote the end chapter. Now, because I'm not good at finishing stories, I felt like that was the way to go. But now I look back and I'm like, how do I write the beginning? So it's all up to whatever your brain decides to do. Don't mind my dog. That's my dog if you can hear it. Yeah. Anyway, remember with writing, just if you have this writer's block thing, just stop, think, and then outline what you want in that part or come back to it later. Just don't forget about it. Crap write. That's definitely something you need to do. Now, no book is going to be perfect the first time, and as you go on, you're just like, yeah, that was terrible what I just wrote. Keep it there, because it's clearly something your brain wanted to be in, you just haven't wrote it the way you want it. And editing helps. Now, nothing over the top while you're editing during. This can be spelling, this can be grammar, this can just be rewriting an entire sentence. But don't go overboard. Save the major editing to last. That's the last thing you need to do. Okay, number 5, motivation. Now this is also a challenging step because you've got to be able to keep the idea going in your head. But you get bored of it sometimes. Personally, I'm very much a person that honestly gets bored quite a lot with the story I'm writing, and I usually take time off to be like, what do I do next? The idea behind the motivation is to keep you going. Write down drafts, even if it's one draft one day, another draft the other day, or just continue on with the same draft and then redo it, but don't delete a draft. Those drafts are clearly something your mind wanted, and at the end, you can merge the drafts together if you can, and that will create a base for your story. And then you can write over top of it, which then comes on to my 6th point, editing. Now, as I said before, editing is probably the last thing you need to do, and definitely is, but you also need the outside eye. Editing overall. So take a step back, read through your work, and then go through each scene, each line, and take out bits. Even use Grammarly if you really need to. Just don't trust it all the time, because sometimes it is wrong. Personally, it's wrong sometimes when I'm writing. Sometimes you'll want to say is, but it wants to say was. It depends on what tense you're more capable in as well. Personally, Grammarly for me wants me to do it in past tense, but usually I want to do it in present tense because I'll first write in first person. Now, the best way to edit a story, if you don't want it to be in first person and you want it to be in third person, change your name, change the I to the name of your main character. Then change your pronouns, them, they, he, she, whatever they could be, to the character's pronouns. Now, this character does not actually have to be you. This can be a completely different character, and it usually is. Comes to next point, get nitpicky. By what I mean by that is niggly bits, like really get into them and edit them the way you want it. Remember, setting, character, story. That's the easiest way to go off of it. Setting, character, story. You've got to set the scene to where you are in the scene. The characters involved, what the character looks like, how they act, what they're saying at the current time. And then the story itself. Don't just focus on main character setting. Focus on the actual story that you're trying to tell, but tell it as if you need to speak it. Because if I just wrote this down, it wouldn't come out the way I want it. Speak it out loud. Trust me, it works. And then get outside feedback. Get a friend, get a family member, get anyone, get a random stranger off the street even. maybe not that. But seriously, go anywhere and find someone that's willing to read your book or just the short part of your story and get their advice on it. See what they think about it. Don't just let them say, oh yeah, it's good. Get feedback. Get proper feedback about it. Sorry about the lighting, by the way. Get proper feedback on this, because that will help you edit. That's what people want. And then lastly, number 7, take a break. Take a step back. This is something I personally do. I sometimes will write a story, move on to a different story, forget about that story after I've edited and everything, and then come back once I'm like, oh yeah, I wrote that story a long time ago, didn't I? I'll come back to it. And then I will take it into my brain and be like, I can't remember what the scene is meant to be, or I will remember what the scene is meant to be. And then I'll look at it and I'll be like, I didn't write anything about the setting, so that's what I need to do. I need to edit it to write about the setting. Need more write about the characters. Can't just write about me. I'm very much that person that will write about me. And that's how you write a basic story as well. Make sure, stick with the idea. Combine ideas. Sure, go for it. But make sure you have the major idea. And keep the idea, think of it, if you're a dancer or a drama student or anything like that, an artist even, or an English essay for all I know, mathematician, keep a motif. A motif is something that stays within it all the way through and it connects. This can be as simple as a necklace, as simple as nail polish, as simple as a book, anything. Just keep it running through, because then it will connect with your story and then it will show something you're trying to say. Anyway, hope you guys have fun writing a story. Don't forget to check out my stories in Wattpad down below. And if you want to see a story that I'm writing at the moment, comment it down below. Don't forget to click like if you liked it, down like it if you really didn't like it. Give me advice. What do I need to change? Apart from the lighting, because clearly I need that. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Subscribe if you really want to. And I'll see you later. Bye, friends.